You wake up at 6:47, not because you chose 6:47, because your phone learned that you always snooze twice. It already knows. You reach for it before your eyes are fully open. Muscle memory, 10,000 repetitions. The screen glows, a grid of icons. You never consciously arranged them. They migrated there, over months, over years, settling into place like sediment at the bottom of a river. Email, top left. Messages below it. That green icon you check 11 times before breakfast, before you have spoken to anyone who exists in 3 dimensions. You scroll. The feed knows where you will stop. It has been measuring. The half-second pauses, the micro-hesitations, the dilation of your pupils when something triggers dopamine. Somewhere in a server farm consuming the electrical output of a small city, an equation updates itself. You think you are browsing. The system thinks you are training it. Shower. Coffee. The machine has a subscription now. You do not remember when that started. 1 month, the pods arrived automatically, and you never stopped it, because stopping requires 4 confirmation emails and a phone call during business hours that align with your working hours. So the pods keep coming, 48 every 6 weeks. You are on month 19, 912 pods, 912 moments where you could have said no, 912 moments where the friction of saying no exceeded the annoyance of saying yes. This is not about coffee pods. This is about the mathematics of capitulation. Breakfast. You open the app with the smile logo. It suggests what you ordered last Tuesday. You order it again. Convenient, frictionless. A small dopamine touch when the check mark appears. The human brain evolved to conserve energy, to find the path of least resistance, to create habits that eliminate the cognitive cost of deciding. For 200,000 years, this was survival. Now, it is exploitation. At 8:23, you get in the car. The route has not changed in 2 years, but the navigation app still opens automatically. It knows 3 slightly different paths. You do not question why it never shows a 4th. The illusion of choice is more important than the reality of options. Give someone 3 paths, they feel autonomous. Give them 300, they feel paralyzed. Give them 1, they feel controlled. The optimal number for perceived freedom is 3. You are listening to something. A playlist the service built for you. It has your name on it. You did not pick any of these songs, but you like them. You like them because they sound like things you have liked before. The recommendation engine does not take risks. It tightens the loop. Month by month, your taste becomes a circle, then a smaller circle, then a point. Your preferences are not being discovered, they are being narrowed. And you experience this narrowing as curation. You arrive at work. Your login credentials autofill. Your desktop arrangement is cloud synced across devices you do not remember authorizing. Your calendar has 3 meetings you did not schedule. Someone sent an invitation. It auto-accepted. And now the hour is gone. Time, like data, can be taken without being stolen. Lunch. Same app as breakfast. Different meal. Same architecture. The menu has 60 items. You rotate through 4. The app knows this. It does not judge. It just moves those 4 higher up the list. Preference reinforcement. The system does not force you to order the same thing. It just makes it easier. 3 fewer taps, 1 less scroll. And those 3 taps represent the entire barrier between exploration and repetition. Afternoon. You get an email about a service you are paying for. You do not remember signing up. The charge has been there for 9 months. $11.99. Not enough to investigate, too much to ignore completely. It lives in the space between. That space, between annoyance and action, is very profitable. There is a term for this in behavioral economics, the cognitive friction threshold, the exact amount of inconvenience required to prevent action. $11.99 is below that threshold. $11.99 multiplied by 12 million subscribers is above it. Evening. You open the entertainment app. You scroll for 12 minutes. There are thousands of options. You feel paralyzed. This is called the paradox of choice. More options do not create more satisfaction. They create decision fatigue. And decision fatigue has a predictable outcome. You choose something the algorithm placed in the top row. Episode 4 of something you are already watching. The path of least resistance. Before bed, you check your phone. 47 notifications. You clear them without reading most. 3 apps remind you that you have not used them today. They miss you. They are designed to miss you. Designed by teams of engineers with degrees in persuasive technology. Designed using testing across millions of users. Designed to trigger the same neural circuits that evolved to keep you connected to your tribe. Because isolation meant death. And now, isolation means not checking an app. You set your alarm for 6:45. You already know you will snooze twice. This is the loop. And tomorrow, the loop will tighten. No one forces you. No one threatens you. No one holds a gun to your head and says, use this platform. The control is not violence. It is topology. Imagine a landscape that is mostly flat, but with subtle slopes. Nothing steep, nothing obvious. Just gentle gradients that guide water in a particular direction. You are the water. You think you are flowing freely, but the terrain was shaped long before you arrived. Default settings are the most powerful force in modern decision-making. When something is default, it does not need to be chosen. It needs to not be unchosen. That is a completely different psychological threshold. The browser that came with your device, the search engine inside the browser, the Maps app that was pre-installed, the cloud storage that automatically backed up your photos, the video platform that autoplays the next episode. You could change any of these. Technically, legally. You have that freedom. But changing requires researching alternatives, creating a new account, migrating your data, learning a new interface, losing integration with other services, explaining to people why you are not where they expect you to be. The friction is not one thing, it is 100 small things. And friction is the opposite of convenience, and convenience is the drug. Now consider ecosystems. You bought one product. It worked well, so you bought another from the same company. That one integrated perfectly with the first. Click, sync, done. Then a third product. Then a subscription service. Then a hardware upgrade that only works with their cloud system. 5 years later, everything talks to everything, but only inside one closed circle. Switching is not switching one thing, it is switching 15 things simultaneously. Your photos, your documents, your contacts, your passwords, your payment methods, your watch, your earbuds, your TV, your thermostat, your door lock, your car, your calendar, your health data, your children's school assignments, your grandmother's birthday reminder. You would have to leave the entire solar system to escape the gravitational pull. So, you do not. No one forced you. You just got comfortable. Comfort is the most effective cage ever invented, because the prisoner sees the bars and chooses them anyway. Beneath all of this, underneath the apps and the products and the platforms, there is something deeper: incentive structures. The system does not need to control you, it just needs to make one path slightly easier than all the others. Then it waits. Then it measures. Then it optimizes. Every button you press is a vote. Every scroll is a signal. Every purchase is training data. The system learns what makes you stay, what makes you return, what makes you pay. It is not sinister. It is statistical. But statistics, at scale, become destiny. John Davison Rockefeller was born in 1839. His father was a con artist. His mother was a Baptist. From one, he learned manipulation. From the other, he learned conviction. That combination is dangerous. When he was 16 years old, Rockefeller purchased a small, leather-bound notebook. He titled it Ledger A. In this ledger, he recorded every penny he earned, every penny he spent, every penny he gave to charity. Not because he had to, because the act of recording gave him a sense of control in a world that felt chaotic. His father was a bigamist and a swindler who disappeared for months at a time. His mother believed in divine order and the sin of extravagance. Between these two poles, chaos and order, deception and righteousness, Rockefeller's psychology formed. He did not see himself as a businessman. He saw himself as an engineer of order, an architect correcting the fundamental design flaw of capitalism: competition. When he looked at the oil industry in the 1860s, he saw madness. Hundreds of tiny refineries, all fighting each other, all barely profitable, all wasting resources, prices swinging wildly, disorder. It offended him, not morally in the traditional sense, morally in a structural sense. He believed efficiency was righteousness. He believed consolidation was progress. He believed that one rational system was better than 100 chaotic actors. So he set out to build that system. Rockefeller did not compete. Competition was inefficient. Instead, he changed the shape of the game. His insight was simple. Do not fight at the level everyone else is fighting. Fight at the level below. Everyone was competing to refine oil. Rockefeller asked what refining oil required: barrels, transport, storage, distribution. So he bought the barrel factories. He bought the railroads. He built the warehouses. He controlled the supply chain. When his competitors wanted to refine oil, they had to use his infrastructure. He could charge them full price and charge himself nothing. He could negotiate secret deals with railroads, lower rates for his shipments, higher rates for everyone else. This was not illegal. It was structural advantage. Within a decade, he controlled 90% of America's oil refining, not because his product was better, because his system was inescapable. But controlling the market created a problem. Monopolies are illegal. Monopolies are hated. So Rockefeller invented something new. In 1882, his lawyers created the trust, a legal structure where dozens of separate companies, on paper, were independent, but in reality, all controlled by the same central entity. It looked like competition. It looked like choice, but all the choices led to the same place. This structure, the holding company, the parent corporation, the ecosystem of subsidiaries, this was not a business strategy. It was a blueprint. Every major corporation today uses this model. Different names on the storefront, same owner in the back. Rockefeller understood something profound about power. The people who make the rules matter more than the people who follow them. He did not just dominate markets. He shaped regulations. He influenced lawmakers. He made sure the standards for oil quality were set at levels his refineries could meet easily, but small competitors could not. He did not break the system. He became the system. When the government forced Standard Oil to break apart in 1911, something strange happened. Rockefeller got richer. The monopoly was split into 34 separate companies, but he still owned shares in all of them. Instead of one hated monopoly, there were 34 competing companies, each one dominant in its region, each one still partially his. The illusion of competition returned. The control never left. Those 34 companies, ExxonMobil, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, Marathon, they still exist. They are still competing against each other, using the same operational philosophy their common ancestor invented 150 years ago. What survived was not Rockefeller, not Standard Oil, not even the oil industry as he knew it. What survived were the methods, the operating principles, the invisible architecture. 3 mechanisms. The first is vertical integration. Instead of owning one part of a process, own every part. You want to buy something online? You go to the platform. The platform handles payment, it handles delivery, it handles the review system. It provides the cloud infrastructure that other retailers use to compete with it. At every layer, the same entity takes a cut. The buyer does not see this. The buyer sees convenience. One login, one click, one delivery. But the small seller on the platform is paying a listing fee, a transaction fee, a storage fee, a delivery fee. an advertising fee to be visible in search results, a fee to access customer data, a fee to process returns. The platform makes money whether the seller succeeds or fails. It makes money from its competitors. It makes money from its own customers buying from its competitors. When you own the infrastructure, you do not need to win every transaction. You just need transactions to happen. Rockefeller did not need to refine every barrel of oil. He just needed oil to move through his pipelines. The second mechanism is predatory pricing. You do not destroy competitors loudly. You make them irrelevant quietly. Offer a service at a price that is unsustainable. Lose money for years. You can afford it because other profitable divisions fund this one. Your competitors cannot. They fold, they merge, they sell to you. 3 years later, there is no competition left. You raise prices, slowly, carefully. Not enough to provoke anger, just enough to stop losing money and start printing it. A telecommunications company enters a market with free calls and free data. The existing companies cannot match that. They hemorrhage customers. Within 2 years, 7 competitors become 3. Within 4 years, the free service is not free anymore. But by then, there is nowhere else to go. The brutal part is that this genuinely benefits consumers in the short term. You really did get free data. You really did save money. The trap does not feel like a trap until it closes. Rockefeller did this in the 1870s with kerosene prices. The method has not changed, just the products. The third mechanism is regulatory capture, the most invisible form of control, making sure the rules are written by the people who benefit from them. Pharmaceutical companies fund the agencies that approve their drugs. Tech platforms write policy recommendations for the legislators who regulate them. Financial institutions staff the regulatory bodies meant to oversee them. This is not corruption in the traditional sense. It is structural capture. The system does not get broken. It gets colonized from within. Rockefeller did not bribe politicians. He did not need to. He just made sure the people writing oil industry standards understood oil refining the way he did. The regulations looked neutral. They were not. Today, this operates at scale. Tax codes with loopholes that only billion-dollar accounting teams can exploit. Safety standards that only the largest manufacturers can afford to meet. Licensing requirements that keep new competitors from entering the market. None of this is illegal. All of it is structural. The game is playable, but only by those who designed the board. You are scrolling through the app. You are ordering from the platform. You are staying inside the ecosystem because leaving feels like climbing a mountain in the rain. Nothing illegal is happening. You have choices. Technically, you could switch. You could research alternatives. You could build a new routine. But the system does not need to trap you. It just needs to be slightly more convenient than every alternative. Slightly faster, slightly cheaper, slightly more integrated. And you are tired. You are busy. You have 100 other things to think about. So you stay. And the next person stays. And the next. Over years, the paths that are not taken disappear. Not officially, just practically. The restaurants that do not deliver through the app get less traffic. The services that do not integrate get forgotten. The alternative platforms with fewer users feel empty. The system does not destroy them. Economics does. Rockefeller believed monopoly was not theft. He believed it was the natural endpoint of any efficient market. He thought, why should 10 companies waste resources doing the same thing? Why not one company doing it perfectly? And in a certain cold, logical sense, he was not wrong. Consolidation is more efficient. Monopolies do eliminate waste. One integrated system is smoother than 100 competing ones. The problem is what gets lost. Choice, leverage, the ability to leave. When there is only one path, it does not matter if it is well paved. It is still the only path. You cannot escape this. You cannot opt out of infrastructure. You cannot live in a modern economy without touching these systems. And that is not an accident. That is the design. The most sophisticated form of control is not force. It is inevitability. You were born into a world where the defaults were already set, where the ecosystems were already mature, where the infrastructure was already built. You did not choose the game. You were born on the board. You could fight, you could support alternatives, pay more for independence, resist convenience deliberately. But that is exhausting, and it does not scale. You could accept, enjoy the benefits, make peace with the trade-offs, live inside the system without thinking about it too much. Many do, many will. There is a certain wisdom in that, but now you have seen it. You could understand. You could see the architecture clearly, recognize when you are being guided, notice when a choice is not really a choice. That does not free you, but it changes something. Because once you see the pattern, you cannot pretend it is random. Once you see the mechanism, you cannot pretend it is nature. Once you see the cage, even a comfortable cage, you know you are in one. Rockefeller died in 1937, 97 years old, the richest man in history. Adjusted for inflation, $400 billion. More wealth than he could spend in 100 lifetimes. The companies he built were broken apart. Then they quietly merged back together. The methods he invented were copied into every industry. The world he imagined, where everything connects, where one system manages everything, where competition fades and efficiency reigns. That world is not coming. It is here. You woke up inside it this morning. You will wake up inside it tomorrow. The question is not whether you can escape. The question is what you do now that you can see the walls.